Good morning, folks. Certainly an honor and a pleasure here for me to be with you guys today. Look forward to working with all the individual breeds respectively there today, as well as the staff here for the Maryland State Fair. Really nice way to start out your show here today, guys. Super high quality female. And you know, when we get into showing these baby calves, you know, they haven't figured out quite how to be show heifers yet. So they're all fighting the halter a little bit and probably not giving us their absolute best look that we're trying to strive for out here. But with that, I think we've got a nice heifer to start your class with. Certainly one for me that's very attractive and one that grabs me from the attention, certainly when she first set foot on the tan bark here today. Extremely good looking, nice in her blade. You like how smooth she is, and certainly for me a lot of future, and that's kind of how I see these heifer calves. We kind of project some future into these things. Nice female to start your class with. I think the female here in two, she probably offers the most in terms of muscle of any of the trio that we have out here. Certainly in terms of her growth pattern, we like that about her. Super long spine individual. One for me, if we would just refine her and get her to relax, and again, it may just be her disposition. She's wanting to get out and go there a little bit. What she wants to get up in that top ever so slightly. If we could go ahead and refine her and just relax her a bit in her spine, I think she'll be a little bit better served. Heifer we're going to conclude the class with here, certainly a lot of future and a tremendous amount of good in that female. I think she just gives up too much for me in terms of performance when we compare her to those contemporaries in that trio class. Great way to start your show, guys. Look forward to working with everybody the rest of the day. Thank you.
On the red Angus side, first went to Gabe Zach with CC Princess. Second went to Jay Ricky with GC Terracork. And third went to Peyton Hills Farms, Graham Sabrina. Now in the ring we have Class 5 Junior Heifer Calves.
Good morning to to you Hereford breeders. Appreciate the opportunity to get to evaluate your cattle here this morning. Really enjoying the cooler climate. Where I come from, it's been a bit hotter and a bit drier this year than what we might consider ideal. Really a nice pair to start this Hereford show off with. Really like the heifer calf at the side of this cow. Just really a complete, really well presented, neat shoulder, deep sided, correct female when you get her out on the move. Cow's very moderate in her makeup. Again, fairly fault free, maybe carrying just a bit more condition, but when you doing the kind of job she's doing with the heifer calf, her udder development and all that, certainly maybe not completely ideal in terms of her teat structure, but certainly don't want to be too critical with the job she's doing with the heifer calf she has at side. The next two pairs get a bit closer for me. Pretty good sized cow here in the second hole. Maybe just doesn't have the depth and dimension as we have in the pair that wins the class in terms of the cow. When she gets out on the move, maybe doesn't set her hind leg down with the authority that maybe we have in our class winner, but still a big, powerful kind of big, long-sided kind of a cow that's doing certainly a nice job with the heifer calf she has at side. The cow that we're going to end the class with, certainly a long-sided cow. They got some meat and muscle in her, fairly correct on her feet. Maybe like to change her udder structure just a bit, maybe balance it up a little bit more. The calf at her size certainly doing a nice job with it. Just a little younger calf, maybe compared to the two ahead of her, but still a really useful, functional kind of a female.
Our placings in the Hereford show ring for the cow-calf class is first place to KLL KLD Lalani 203HET, owned and shown by KL Lemon Cattle Company. In second place, we have Lindsay Jacobs with Churchview Rockette 930D. In third place, we have JC Mitchell with PM Patty Cake.
Tremendous class of females here, guys. My sincere compliments goes out here to the breeders here of all these respective heifers in the class here. I think we got a stout one here, guys, to start out with. That's one, from a power standpoint, and when you evaluate her in terms of constructive power, in terms of her foot and bone work, you certainly appreciate that. We've got some January and February females out here. Certainly there's some differences in terms of performance, and I get that, but I'm not really too overly concerned about that at this stage of the game for these females. I'm looking for good ones out here, and I think that is a good one starting out. You love how for as much power she has, you love how she lays that blade in there. She's adequate in terms of her shape, in terms of that center rib and portion. I guess compared to Ideal, if we would want to pretty her up and make her maybe to that next level, she's maybe not as sexy as you want to make one up through that front 1/3 in terms of her neck, but certainly a high-quality female. You love the power and substance that one has to offer. We got some differences here to talk about in these next trios, and I think you could do some different things here. I'm going to tell you how I see them. I think that heifer in 2 has a tremendous future to her. I think in terms of she does have that front end that's maybe a little neater than the heifer we started out with. Certainly not the performance, not the power, but when you start to study her from a silhouette standpoint, I love that center body in her. I love that center rib shape, the overall balance that she offers you from chest to flank. I think that's a good heifer there that landed there in 2. Good heifer there. We've got one here in a heifer in 3. For me, she's wanting to fight that halter again. That's probably a detriment to her out here. She hasn't quite figured out how to be a show heifer yet, and you're going to get that with some of these baby calves. This may be the first time that they've been away from home there a bit there. But I think that one, again, she's got a tremendous amount of future. You love their length of body and that long spine individual. She's got maybe a nickel's worth of chest in her, but I think where she comes over the heifer that we conclude the class with is just pure power. When you study these heifers from behind, she does have more to offer in terms of substance, in terms of shape, in terms of true dimension. I think I love the silhouette of the heifer we're going to conclude the class with. She is a bit more refined in her overall makeup than all 3 of the heifers that we had out there. If we're going to change that one, certainly want to pull that one apart in terms of her pin set there. We've got a tremendous, though, heifer from the side. You love the depth of body. If we're going to change her again compared to Ideal, maybe want to neaten up that chest floor ever so slightly, and again, get her to relax that top. And again, that just may be disposition in these heifer calves early on out here in the ring. Tremendous set there, guys, to get you a champion in this division. Thank you.
results of Class 5 on the Red Angus side. First to Kevin Stahl, Slate Wind Farms, SWF Firefly. Second to Country Acres Farm, CC Mimi. Third to Jay Ricky with GC Atomic Ratty. And fourth to Country Acres with CC Marigold. Now in the ring, we have our champion junior heifer calf drive.
I think we have a really powerful heifer calf to start this class off with. Certainly handles this class readily, handily. Just a really sound kind of a female when you get her out on the move. You look at her from the corners, and something that's very important to me with our cattle operation at home is the foot size and placement. Certainly a female that looks like she'd have some longevity, very balanced. You get behind her, certainly has some width of base at both ends. Just a really nice complete heifer. If I wanted to pick at her just a bit, she tends to bolt out just a little bit in that front shoulder, maybe a little tighter in her heart than what I would consider perfectly ideal. But still a female that's got a lot of future ahead of her that I really like in this particular class. The next two heifers, in terms of type and kind, I think we're going to go with a heifer that's showing just a bit more growth at this stage. Certainly when she gets out on the move, if I wanted to change her, I'd want to change the way she moves off those hind legs. Kind of gets out when you look at her from the front. She wants to go maybe east and west a bit more than I would consider ideal, but still a really heifer that's showing some growth, some natural thickness and width when you get behind her as compared to the females below her. The next heifer I'm going to concede in terms of foot size and structure, maybe just a tick better than the heifer just ahead of her, but giving up a little more in terms of her overall performance, but still a heifer that's really functional when you put her out on the move. Certainly, as you compare to the heifer just below her, has more width of base off of both ends. The heifer we're going to end the class with is certainly a heifer that's got a lot in terms of growth outcome. Certainly a big framed heifer, but just disappoints me a bit in terms of her overall natural width of base and thickness.
Congratulations. Our winner of Class 4 is TVF ST Bella 5K, owned by Sophia Taylor. In second place is MAM Charlotte 88K, owned and shown by Molly McGough. In third place is JM Patty Cake, owned and shown by JC Mitchell. And in fourth place is SRF Violet 83, owned and shown by Benjamin Troyer. Coming in the ring now is break 1 of Class 5. Sorry, break 2 of Class 5.
Results over here on our Red Angus side. Our champion junior heifer calf was exhibited by Slate Wind Farms, Miss SWF Miss Firefly. Our reserve was exhibited by Country Acres Farm, CC Princess. Now in the ring, we have Class 8 late senior heifer calves.
I want to welcome everybody to the Maryland State Fair and also the Maryland Hereford State Show. Helping us out today is our Maryland Hereford Junior Princess, Lily Barnett. Lily's 9 years old and has been a member of the Maryland Junior Hereford Association since she was 5. Lily shows cattle with her Uncle Jacob, and Lily enjoys traveling with her cattle to shows and making new friends. In her spare time, Lily likes camping and fishing. So let's all give a warm welcome to our Maryland Hereford Junior Princess, Lily Barnett.
Over here again on the red side of things, nice way to start out. Just a super complete kind of a female. Doesn't blow you away in terms of look, but I think she has the advantage here just in terms of substance, pin width, and certainly in terms of structural integrity. When you set these two in motion, you love the way that one gets out. You love how she handles her from hawk to ground, just nice and relaxed, and how she handles her top. I think that's the advantage where you compare these two heifers in class. When the young lady here gets that one parked and shown, I mean, that one gives you a tremendous look from the side. I guess my issue is when we start to set that one in motion, I just would like to see her be a bit more assertive on the move, a bit more confident when she goes off those rear two. She wants to get a little bit unorganized there off those two. And again, these are young heifer calves, and it may just be her disposition out here wanting to get out and go. I think when she gets that one relaxed, she does offer a tremendous look from the side there. Two nice females there in that class. Thank you.
Again, we have a really powerful heifer to start this class off with. Certainly a heifer that's showing a lot of growth at this stage in her life. Really thick off of when you get behind her down into her lower stifle. Heifer that's not acting real good at the moment here in the ring, but we've all experienced that over the years in showing cattle. Just a really long hip, deep-sided, bow rib kind of a female that certainly the kind that we'd like to produce more of in the cattle industry. The next heifer in line, certainly a heifer that has some thickness in her own right. Heifer that maybe not quite as smooth in her overall design, but when she gets off on the move, certainly adequate in that regard. Certainly appreciate the thickness and shape when you get behind this female. Heifer that should go ahead and make a really nice brood cow. Young lady here doing a super job showing this heifer that we're in the class with. But just a heifer in terms of muscle and natural shape, just giving up a bit more to be competitive in this class with the two heifers just ahead of her. But I think this young lady's doing a sensational job showing this heifer.
Over on the Red Angus side, results from Class 8. First went to Pelton Hills Farm with HFCCR Dixie. Second went to J. Ricky with GC Hash Brown. Down the ring we have Class 9.
Looking at a few fall yearlings here, folks, on the red side of things. Two high-quality females here, and two that are very similar, I guess, in their structural build and makeup. I'm going to go with the one that offers, again, a notch more power, and I think more of a combination type female when we start to evaluate the two. I think she's a bit longer-sided, maybe a notch more in terms of performance. Both these two females, you know, I'd like to clean up that underline just a bit. They both have just a tick of navel to them. But I think that heifer there that we start out with just offers a bit more in terms of her completeness, in terms of her look, in terms of her design, certainly foot size and bone, and just a nice combination female to start the class with. Young lady here named Virginia, she brought us a high-quality female also out to the ring. You love the potential of that one down the road in the pasture as a cow. I mean, you love the depth of body and center rib shape that she has. Maybe not quite as neat and eccentric in terms of her pieces when we compare those two females there. But again, a high-quality pair of fall yearlings here in your red division. Thank you.
In our Hereford ring, the results of Class 5 Break 2. First place goes to Kyle Lemon Cattle Company. And second place goes to Matthew Dietzen. And third place goes to Julie Troyer.
Over on the red Angus side, Class 9 results first to Brad Ramsey, Graham Annie Boteet.
Do we have any extra lineups that I can have?
Second goes to Everett Brooks with LDCFJ Autumn. Attention on the Hereford side. In Class 18, the breaks are backwards. Come in the proper order. Class 18, the breaks are backwards. So Class 18, break 1 is now break 3. Break 2 will stay the same, and break 3 is now break 1. So your Februaries will come in first, and then your Januaries. This should be, this should be 2 sets of Februaries, if I had to guess.
Yeah, it is. Attention in the barns, Hereford exhibitors. Our last class of junior heifer calves is in the ring. Late senior heifer calves, you are on deck.
results of our champion senior heifer calf. Champion went to Brad Ramsey, Pelton Hill Farm, which with HFCCR Dixie. Reserve went to Brad Ramsey as well with Graham Annie Boutique.
My compliments out here. We got a single entry exhibitor out here. Compliments out here. Compliments to the heifer and the exhibitor there as well. I think we've got a competitive female here that certainly could stand a bit more competition out here. Certainly one that has a lot to offer in terms of cow prospect and evaluating that one down the road. You can kind of forecast that one and almost see her with the calf at her side there with that body shape and rib shape that we like to see. You know, compared to Ideal, and again, she's fighting that halter, wanting to get out and go. Maybe we want to get her to be a bit more relaxed off those rear two and just set that foot down with a little more comfort than what she does. But I think that's partly her decision. You take that halter off, put her in the pasture, and I think she'll give you certainly a better look there. Nice female.
On the Red Angus side, our March Junior Yearling Class 17 first went to Country Acres Farm with Country Acre Baby. Now in the ring we have Class 18, our Junior Yearling Heifers.
No, I'm going to start sounding like a broken record, but again, we have a really dominant young female in this class. Certainly a heifer in terms of eye appeal and style, extremely well presented, but a heifer just really smooth up through that front 1/3, really lays in nicely. The head and neck and shoulder all lay together just the way I like to see them. Really nice on the move. A heifer that's really fluid, covers her track. Certainly got a lot of depth of flank and forerib. I get behind her. She doesn't disappoint when you look at her and study her in terms of her depth, her rib shape. Just a really, really extremely fault-free, functional kind of a Hereford female to lead off this class. Then it's just, you know, as we go down the line, it's going to get more into type and kind. I think we had to make some concessions here. Maybe doesn't go together quite as consistent as I might like to see it. The heifer we're going to go with in the second hole, when I put her on the move, I'd certainly like to change the way she lays into her tail head. She tends to come up just a bit, gets a bit rougher in the way her tail head lays in there with her pin placement. But when you really study the heifer, she's certainly long-sided, certainly got some length of hip. She's definitely adequate in terms of her thickness. Even though she comes up a bit in that tail head when she gets on the move, she's still relatively sound, covers her track out on the move. I certainly like her up to her front 1/3 in terms of her shoulder development and the way her neck and shoulder lay together. just a functional kind of female that I think will make a nice cow. The next heifer in line, in terms of eye appeal, I really like. I certainly would be the first to admit, as compared to the next 3 heifers below her, maybe in terms of overall power, in terms of her muscle shape, she certainly gives up a bit in that regard. But still a heifer in terms of the way her shoulder and design, the way she's put together, I certainly like that. If I would change her structure, you know, her front end, and sometimes that's just the way they're feeling the day you're showing them. She tends to want to go a bit east and west when you look straight on to her, but not a structural flaw that I think would hinder her development in terms of her longevity, making a brood cow. The next 3 heifers in line, I think in terms of their muscle, shape, and thickness, I certainly like them from that regard. The next heifer's super long-sided heifer, maybe in terms of her femininity and up through that front 1/3, maybe